Happy Friday to my basics bitches out there. This is Friday No Filter, where we unleash the rant on the basics of health. Each Friday, we tear down the glossy facade and dive headfirst into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to thrive in the chaos of modern health. No frills, no fluff, just straight talk about what matters. It's time to embrace the chaos on your own journey and give a big, bold middle finger to the status quo. Hello, 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 and happy Friday. I hope you guys are having a great day so far today. I hope you guys are doing well. It is a Friday, so of course it's got to be great, right? I feel like that's just a thing. Maybe not. I don't know. What is going on? Okay, lots of good stuff going on for me today. Some pretty actually crazy stuff. Tonight, I'm doing my very first ever emceeing of a hypnotist show, which is kind of crazy for me. And the guy that I was chatting with that kind of set this up, he was telling me how like he was just like doing some really big show with Ted Nugent. I was like, and you asked piddly old me to come and MC this? Like, this is going to be crazy. So as most of you know, I'm trying to get more on stage, more in front of people. And this is not exactly the direction necessarily, because I'm not necessarily looking to MC hypnotist shows, but on stage in front of people, and who knows what doors he could open. Like, this is why it's really important, y'all, to just like get in there, get in the room, hire the person, talk to the people, whatever that looks like for you. It could change your whole life. Like this could literally change my whole life, which is really, really kind of cool to think about. And maybe it doesn't. That's also a possibility. Maybe it doesn't change my whole life, but man, maybe it does. Oh, I'm really excited about it. Also, as you know, BOD is open, Basics on Demand. You can hop in there as well. And then, of course, applications for one-on-one coaching are also linked in the show notes if you're interested. Let's get you in. Let's get it done. Let's go. Okay, so we talked cheat meals and meal planning. And here's what I know about both those things. I want to just kind of summarize both of those things and why I get so frustrated and irritated and annoyed. I'm not even gonna lie, it annoys me when we use this language and when we talk about things like this, because I know better, because I've been where you're at, right? I'm not speaking from, some like 22-year-old hot bod, never had problems, never was overweight, obese. We're going to call a spade. I'm going to call myself what I truly felt, because language matters, right? I'm fat, unattractive, unworthy, right? I've been there, right? I'm not some 22-year-old who has not experienced this. I've had babies. I've been pregnant. I have been in a situation where my husband cheated on me. Not current husband, just to clarify. I have been in some of these shoes that you're sitting in, which is why for me, it's like, sometimes I just want to fucking shake people and be like, come on. And it's fine. And that's fine. But you have to get there on your own. And I know some of you listen to that podcast because that podcast did pretty darn good, but some of you listen to that podcast and are like, yep, that's me. Yep. That's absolutely me. Now, I took a story on I took a poll on my stories to see who did cheat meals. You want to know the people who did not do cheat meals? This is hilarious. My clients or former clients were like, nope, not anymore. Because they know now, they learned, right? And that being said, I'm going to talk about I'm not willing to sit here and apologize for being blunt, for saying these things, for talking about these things. I am not going to apologize for doing this. I'm not going to apologize for being good at what I do. And that's why I will continuously do what I do. That is why I will continuously, quote unquote, sell people and send emails and bother you, quote unquote, if that's what you feel like this is, right? Is because I'm damn good at what I do and I'm not going to apologize for it. But I also am damn good at what I do because I fucking have been there. I was you. When I found those little, from that group that I was in, and I found that spot, excuse me, all these posts, because I didn't do a great job of talking about or keeping track of how I felt during this process. That was something I did talk a lot about. I didn't keep track of that. And I came across some of these posts and I was just like, man, there's something wrong with me. Like I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't have rice with stir fry. I was eating riced cauliflower with stir fry to see how many calories I could actually save. Like I became almost like obsessed with like how many calories can I cut and how many, all these things in the very beginning of tracking macros until I like learned like, this is not what it's about. Like this is not at all what it's about. So it's literally got to be a 7 p.m. thing. Here it is, 7:02 p.m. I'm recording this and here come my voices. So I don't feel like I do that during the day. But it legitimately is this way. I've been there. And like I said, I didn't keep great track of my story back then, which is also kind of why I really am enjoying Mission 180, because it allows me to go back and see all these things that I'm doing and kind of keep track about how I'm feeling during this process, which is actually really neat. So I would highly recommend future you fucking track your shit. Like take journals of how you're feeling daily and things like that. It's going to be really beneficial. But that's why I'm not apologizing for it. I'm not going to apologize and sit here and say, oh, I'm really sorry if I hurt your feelings, if I told you cheat meals are awful and terrible and no good for you. Nope, I'm not. I'm not going to apologize to that. If that hurt your feelings, there's probably a reason why it hurt your feelings. So understand, okay? Now, that being said, right, the first things that you guys can do in order to move away from these cheat meals is start to heal the food relationship. Food relationship is going to be key here. It's going to be important because until we can break this mold of you believing that food is good and bad, cheat meal is always going to be a thing for you. Or eating things that you quote unquote don't think you should because they're quote unquote bad is always going to be a thing, and you're always going to stay stuck in a cycle. It's just going to be the cycle. You will never get off the hamster wheel until we start understanding that food doesn't have moral value. Fixing your food relationship, that is the key piece. Building a foundation of basics of health. That, by the way, I'm also not going to apologize for saying this. I don't understand why we're not fucking drinking water as human beings. I don't understand why we're not moving our body more as human beings. Like, these are just like standard things that we should already be doing. The basics that I talk about, eating vegetables, protein, moving the body in some way, these are all things that we should already be doing that the majority of us cannot do, will not do, and do not do. It's literally what we build. It should be the foundation every fucking human being has, but we don't have it. We get caught up in calling Oreos bad and then feeling bad about it and then living in this cycle of guilt and shame and all the things. We talked about it. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Not today anyway. Right? So I'm not going to apologize, but the first thing that we have to do is fix a food relationship. The majority of you, I'm just going to say this like it fucking is, cannot do it on your own. I'm just going to say it like it is. You cannot do it on your own. You're going to scroll through Instagram. You're going to think that you can do it. And then you're just going to see one other thing that confuses the fuck out of you. You're not going to do it. The woman that I talked about that would not eat Rice Krispie treats because they were bad, but she would eat Dunkin' Donuts, has muted a lot of people that she used to follow because they would fearmonger the food. They would yell about things. She stopped eating oatmeal because it has glyphosates or whatever the fuck that shit is. In the grand scheme of things, really though, but we're going to go eat McDonald's. Please make it make sense. You can't make it make sense to me. Now, I understand because I used to live in that world. I used to not be any different than my client and then you listening to this podcast. And I have no doubt that you would love to sit down and eat a cheeseburger with French fries and not afterward feel like a bag of dog shit. I have no doubt that that's what you would like. And you cannot get there on your own. And there's a reason why. You're very close to that. You're very close to that piece. And even for me, food relationship at times, it gets a little bit sketch. it gets a little bit in the gray area. What I love about what I do is the community that I have of coaches that constantly remind me that this is not the case. So I follow the right people. 2, I only follow people that are legit in the industry, if you will. What do I mean by that? No, if you are a nutrition person and you're fucking pumping happy juice through people, fuck off. You're not a nutrition person. Fuck off. Or any other supplement. Fuck off. Okay? So that's my 2 cents. I'm not going to apologize for that either. Right? So you're too close. My one mentor used to always say, and I've said it before, you cannot see the label from inside the bottle. It's very difficult. It's why remember when I talked about, I hired a coach to help me get through some sticking points that I was having. And maybe I didn't talk about it in here. I think I did. But in my own inability to slow down and inability to stop and rest and those kinds of things. I hired a coach for that for a day. Literally. That's what the same thing I offer, those one-off private chats. I hired a coach and I said, this is my fucking problem. I need to work through this thing. Please help me. And she did. She helped me majorly. Fellow coach. She's amazing. So I could not do that piece on my own. Why? Because I was way too close to the situation. There's things about it that I don't want to be honest about. There's things about it that I'm not even able to ask myself the right questions because I'm so close to the situation that even if I could ask the right questions, I probably wouldn't be able to answer them appropriately, right? But when you have somebody else who's sitting on the other side, either validating you or showing you a different side through a different scope, through a different lens, those things fucking matter. Because what you think and see, like me, as like, I'm no good, I suck as a coach, this is wrong with me, there's whatever the case is. And the more I started going into that negative headspace, I was just getting stuck down there. And I needed somebody to say, are you actually, do you see how much you actually care as a coach? Do you see from a different perspective, from a different lens? Like, bad coaches, shitty coaches don't care like you're caring about your coaching. Oh, I didn't even think about it like that. Like, it's just a different lens. It's a different perspective. And sometimes you have to hire somebody. So those private chat days, 8 hours a day with me, those are available. You are welcome to hop into that. So there's that. Okay. Also, basics on demand. And then, of course, one-on-one coaching. So wherever you're at, I have something for you. If you're not ready for one-on-one, don't get in one-on-one. I'm not ready for you either. I'll tell you, I've already said that. I'm not begging you to be my client, right? But I do have other things, right? I have other places for you to go. If you're like, man, I think I need this. And I don't really know you very well. I just kind of found your podcast, or I just kind of whatever. And you want to try me on, let's do that. Let's try me on. Let's get in a day. Let's get in a private chat together and let's fucking hammer it out. I got one email back the other day that was like, I need this. I gave 2 different offers. I said, here's 2 ways you can work with me. She responded and said, I need the first one. I said, okay, let's go. And it's that simple. It doesn't take much, and it's very low barrier. Remember that I'm here to help you. My job is to help. My job is to support. My job is to guide. My job is to show you things that you're not seeing and show you different perspectives so that you can move forward with life. Okay. That's my job. So this has been long enough, longer than more normal for Friday No Filter. If you have questions, let me know. If you want to reach out to me, if you want to hit me up, whatever the case is, you want one of my offers, let's make it happen and let's get it done. I hope you guys have an amazing Friday and a weekend. I'm very excited. Also very nervous about this little thing that I'm doing tomorrow night. Will be tonight that you're listening to this. So wish me luck. And maybe you'll see a little video about it. Okay. Have a great weekend.